Welcome back to All That and Then Some with Dawana. I am Dawana. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi. How are you? Thanks for joining me. I hope that you like it. If you like it, like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's all I need you to do. That's all I love for you to do. If you've been here before, hey girl, hey. All right, so my channel is pretty much about me telling stories of my life using the word of the day app. Get into it. I love words. You need to love words too. So let's get right into it, because I don't want to be talking forever, but knowing me, I probably will be. So bear with me. So my word of the day is
Posthaste.
Posthaste. Could you hear that? Let me turn my thing up. Let's try that one more time.
Posthaste.
Posthaste. What it means is with all possible speed. And I named this video before my hair for real turns gets this gray. God send my husband posthaste. Now, I like the word posthaste. So when I came up with the concept of this video, this was a couple of months ago, and at that time I was feeling some type of way that God hadn't sent my husband yet. You know, I gotta get more comfortable, excuse me. Thank you for being a friend. I just want to show off my Golden Girl sweatshirt. So I was in my feelings about the fact that God had not sent any type of inkling of my life mate, and I was in one of those moods. You know, you get in one of those moods. But in all honesty, I don't need God to send my husband with quickness. I'm happy and content with being alone and learning more about myself. But you know, as a woman, and especially as being me, Dawana, who has always had a man in her life, and that's not boasting or bragging. That's really, if you really want to think about it, that's really like a self-esteem issue. I have always had a man in my life. Like, I always had a man in the pocket, just in case, you know, this one decides to leave. I have another one, you know, around the corner. And what's so crazy is I do a lot of blogging. I haven't written anything in the past couple months, so I need to get back on that. But I went back and went through some of my blogs, and it's crazy how, number one, they all have a musical theme. Anyone that I'm talking about, a man. Okay, so back in October of 2017, I named a blog, Once Upon a Time Not Long Ago, I Was a Hoe. I'm admitting it, because I did it. I'm not gonna curse. Yeah, so in that one I was talking about, I think that was another time when I was just thinking about all the relationships that I had been in, and how I had just given myself away to many men without feeling any type of connection. Most of the time there wasn't even a physical connection, let alone emotional, mental, or the most important to me, spiritual connection. So I had to step back and I had to reread that, and I was like, well, you know, I really matured since 2017. And then you come to January 2018. I wrote a blog called I Wanna Know What Love Is. I want you to show me. I wanna feel what love is. Yeah, that was pretty much going through the motions of explaining my past relationships, my long-term relationships that I was in. I was, you know, I was engaged twice. Let's talk about it. I was engaged twice. I was engaged first to my kid's father. And then secondly, I was engaged to who I thought was the love of my life. But when I look back now, I knew those weren't gonna last, because, and this is gonna seem very superficial, but to me, it's more of a spiritual awakening when I look back on it. The first ring I got, I can't tell you what happened to it. I don't even remember. Like, I don't know if I took it off or just lost it. I don't know. But it wasn't on my finger for a long time. And I was in that relationship for 5 years. Maybe 6 years. I don't know how many years ago. It was so long ago. It was 21 years ago. So I don't remember. And I had 3 kids out of that relationship. But in the back of my mind, I think I always knew this is not the man I want to marry. You know what I mean? And then my second engagement, I had that ring. I lost that ring too. And I feel like the loss of that ring kind of justified or showed to me, looking back now, all the things that were lost in that relationship going forward. And I stayed in that relationship for a long time. 8 years we were together, and then another 7 years I was the side girl. I was the side chick. We talked about that before. I was the Wylam side. I am a Wylam side chick. You know, we talked about that. So the loss of those rings, you know, I didn't see those rings as being of anything of significance to me. Like it didn't mean anything to me, because if I was really in love and this was really supposed to be my life mate, my soulmate, the man that God sent me, that ring would have been on my finger. I would have never took it off. I would have never took it off this messed up crooked finger. You understand me? But so I wrote about that in January 2018. In March of 2018, I wrote about being I wrote about somebody else's guy. Somebody else's guy. Oh, can't get off my horse, and I can't let go. You are the one that make me feel so real. Ooh, what am I supposed to do? I'm hooked on you. Then realize that you're somebody else's guy. I can't let you go, no. I got carried away. And that was just going off of the whole, you know, once upon a time not long ago I was a hoe. That was going off, I want to know. I want to know what love is. That was just explaining how even when I was in serious relationships, after I got out of serious relationships, I didn't care if the man had another girl. I was fine with them being somebody else's guy, because I didn't know myself. You get what I'm saying? And then in August of 2018, I was in a mood that day. I think it might have been my birthday week. I was turning 44. And I wrote a blog post called, "Where's my husband?" I was fed up. I was like, God, I've worked on so much. I've worked on, you know, I've taken the toxins out of my body. I've cleaned my mess up. I've gotten my life as straight as I could possibly get at that time. I'm working on loving myself and just putting myself first, you know, and foremost. First and foremost after you, Lord. You know, where's my husband? I thought when I got all these things together, he was magically going to appear. You know, it don't work like that. So in December of this year, I was laying in my bed, and then it popped in my head, you need to do a vision board. And I was like, I need to do a vision board. I need to do another vision board. Do you see those vision boards back there? Like, I'm a vision board fanatic, God. Like, how many more vision boards do I need to do? So he said, you need to do a vision board. And I was told to name the vision board Man of God. And I had to look for phrases, words, pictures, anything that would depict the characteristics I wanted in my husband. And I sat on it for like 2 weeks, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I sat on it for 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, like, this is too much. And then one day he was like, look, I need for you to do this. I need for you to get on the floor, get all these magazines you got around here, and you look for some characteristics that you want in your man. I feel like that was setting me up for 2019. So I did it, and I want to show you guys, my vision board and some of the characteristics that I know God's going to send me and my husband. Some of these characteristics I've had in other men, slightly, but most of them I've never had in any of the men I were with. Especially, the two men I was with the longest time in my life. I spent a total of 20 years of my life with two men, and I can't say that 90% of that stuff on that vision board I didn't get from neither one of them. So when I come back, we'll get back on this conversation, okay? So I had made this one night. My spirit has spoke to me saying, you like doing these vision board things, so you need to do a vision board representing all the things you want and what you're looking for in your husband. So a couple weeks later, I sat on it like I usually do when God tells me something. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then one day, I decided to go ahead and start doing it. So, and I had to name it Man of God. So that's the name. That's the first thing I want for my husband, for him to be a man of God. And then just, his past doesn't have to be perfect. I definitely want him to have some street style and some street swag. I don't know if I'm ever going to find that in a spiritual man, but let us pray. I want him to be my prayer partner, and God is always first, and always in our life. We're gonna put him before us even. I want him to be outspoken. But the both of us to have Jesus' power, and us to be shifters in the body of Christ, and to be able to be some kind of inspiration to those who are maybe starting out in relationships. They can learn from the things I did from my past, and hopefully he don't got a past as bad as mine, but he's done some things, and we can show that through all the adversities, God was always there, and he brought us to the point that we're at right now in marital bliss. So if you are ever, this is just one of my manifestations for 2018, and hopefully, being that I wake up and I see this every day, I will, these things will come to pass. We will see. All right, so I'm back. So I hope I explained, I gave a little bit, I just wanted you guys to see what it looked like, and hit on some a little bit of points there, but I really want to point out 5 specific things real quick before in this video on what God wanted me to see when I was looking through those magazines. And even though I would love for God to send my husband post-haste with all possible speed, I'm willing to wait until if he's out there and he's still struggling with some things and he hasn't gotten everything that God needs him to get before he sends him to me, I'm okay with that. First, I wanted to hit on my holy grail. In my last relationships, God was nowhere in it. Let me be honest. He was nowhere in it. I was fornicating, intoxicating, procrastinating, anything with "in" on the end of it, procreating. I was doing all things outside of what God wants for somebody who is supposed to be man in life, So that's one of the main objectives in who my life mate will be. He will be my holy grail, and our holy grail will be set up by putting God first above everything else. That's the most important thing to me. I really want us to have more of a spiritual connection than a physical, mental, and emotional connection, because I think if you have that spiritual connection, everything else is going to fall right into place, because you're building that relationship on God's outlook on how he wants this relationship to be shaped. You get what I'm saying? And secondly, I want to do it on our own terms. I don't want to be like everybody else out there. I like to think that I'm different. I like to think that I rock my own style. I have my own attitude, and I don't have many friends. I don't talk to a lot of my family. That's just me. And I like to think that when my husband does come, he's going to be somebody who has his own eclectic way of life and looking at life, and not wanting to follow and buck at society and do whatever society does. We're going to ride this wave together, but we're going to be riding the same wavelength that God sets us up for. My past is not perfect, and I want to be able to tell my spouse about my past without ever worrying about it being thrown in my face. There's so many times that in my past relationships, if we would get in an argument, I will always hear, I knew I couldn't turn a hoe into a housewife. Who wants to hear that? Who wants to hear that? But I heard it, I didn't ever want my past to be made to make me feel bad about myself. That's why I've taken my past and I've talked about myself, because if anybody gonna tell the truth, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm not gonna let nobody else tell my story. I'm gonna be able to tell my story and live in my own truth. And I want to make sure that my spouse, and I know God's gonna make it way, that my spouse knows that my past ain't perfect, and I don't expect his past to be perfect either. I think that's what's going to make us even be more of a power couple in my eyes. And in our lifetime together, we're going to enjoy the journey. We're going to live the journey. We're going to live the journey together. I know he's going to have a testimony just as strong, if not stronger than mine, that had led us to our paths finally crossing and coming together as one. And I can't wait for that. And last but not least, it's going to be a new story. And it's going to be a story that I hope would be something that others could look at and say, I know where she came from. I know where he came from. Look where they are right now. Look at this journey of life they're taking together. And that is so important to me, because I've never felt pure, unconditional love from a man. Not even my father. Let me be straight about that. I've never felt it without there being something I had to do to get it. You understand what I mean? I would love to have just unsolicited love from a man. And I know that when God sends that man to me, why am I about to cry? Why am I about to cry? I know that when God sends my life mate, his love for me is going to be unsolicited. He's not going to ask me for anything in return other than my love, And that in itself is a story, a new story. And we're going to live that story over and over and over again. So, I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I did not cry. Yeah, I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I did not cry. Whew, almost did though. Almost knocked it out. And mind you, I'm getting some grays. I don't look my age. I'm about to be 45 in August. I look like I'm 30. Thank you. Thank you. But I have a couple of grays. My little edges are coming in, and they're coming in with some gray in them. But before my hair gets for real that gray, I know that God is going to send my husband Posthaste with the quickness. And when he comes, I'm going to be like knocked off my feet. I'll be saying supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it might seem quite atrocious. I'm going to love me some him, he's going to love me some me, and we're going to love God, and that's all that matters. You understand me? So know that even though you've been in some precarious situations or precarious relationships with men, I've been abstinent now it'll be 3 years in August that I've been abstinent, and I am fine with being abstinent because I've given my body over to so many men in my life. And let me explain something to you. My want for having a husband has nothing to do with a sexual connotation. My want for having a husband because that's what God put us on this earth, for a man and a wife, and he who findeth the wife findeth a good thing. He finds favor with the Lord. And if my husband gonna have favor, I'm gonna get me some of that favor. That favor gonna trickle down on me, So best believe sex is like the last thing on my mind. I'm looking for that spiritual connection. I'm looking for that unsolicited love. And I know the more I talk about it, the more I get to look at that vision board that he told me to put up and look at when I walk out my door every day. And when I come in and turn my light on, I gotta look at it and be like, oh yeah, I want him to have street style. Oh yeah, I want us to put Jesus first. I get to see those little things every day pop up on there, and I know that it's gonna happen. So that's all I got for you guys today. And I know it's not short and sweet. I'm just not a fast talker. Like, I have a lot to say, and my videos are going to be 15-20 minutes. Hopefully you watch them. If not, I hope you get a little bit of something from what you do watch. If you like what you saw, do me a favor, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subs by March 1st. I believe I'm at like 90 something, and I'm gonna be totally honest. If I get 100 followers, I'm good. Like, I'm good. And if I can get like 25-30% of those people to watch my videos, that means that 25-30% of those people who watch them every time I put one on, I'm giving a word, and that word is just for you. Right, check it. All I need is one. Our goal, I'm gonna say it again, our goals here in life is to bring souls to the kingdom, and that's what I'm here to do. Believe that, and know that God made me all that and then some, and he made you all that and then some too. All right, bye y'all.